Hello, hello, hello. If you can hear me, let me know over in the comments. And let's see. If you can hear me, type yes over in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my comment box. Let's see. Looks like I can hear myself. If you can hear me, type yes over in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put my headphones right here, use them as a mic. All right, good. So we got Mallory. So once again, type yes over to the side if you guys can hear me. Want to make sure that this is coming through. Got a bunch of yeses, yes. And if you can see me, type camera so that I know my camera right here is working as well. I know it looks like you guys can hear me. So if you guys can see me, type the word camera as well. I want to make sure that I'm coming through for everybody. This is exciting. This is my first time doing a webinar like this. Looks like you guys can all see me. Good, 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 good. Awesome. So we got a lot of people that are going to be joining in on this. And I want to talk to you guys as much as possible. So make sure that you guys are chatting. Make sure you guys are engaged. And let me know where in the world you're joining in from. So type where in the world you're joining in from. And then we're going to dive in. Just want to make sure that we give a quick shout out to everybody from every country, from every city that we possibly can. Because the cool thing about running these with technology is that these go all over the world, and you're going to see, so we have Canada, Romania, Cambodia, India, Kansas, Canada, California, North Dakota, India, Maryland, Austin. We have Canada, Philadelphia, Chicago, Ohio. We have Australia, Oklahoma, Australia, Kenya, El Salvador, Myanmar, India. Man, this is crazy. Missouri. We have people from all over. Good morning from Kenya. Good morning. Philippines, Canada, Thailand, California. This is amazing. So we have a lot of you guys that are here and ready to dive in. So do you guys all have pen and paper? If you have pen and paper, type yes over to the side. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk about how to master your mind, how to have mindset mastery. This is the most important thing that I can think anybody needs to focus on. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that if you can master your mind, you can master anything else in the external world, because everything starts in your mind. You know, your eyes are in your mind, your eyes are in your head, your ears are in your head. Everything is in your head. So if you can master this thing, everything that happens out here becomes much, much, much easier. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. For those of you guys that don't know who I am, somehow maybe you found me on Facebook or something and you don't know what I do or my qualifications for teaching you guys this. My name is Rob Dial. I've been doing this for about 13 years now. I've taught hundreds of thousands of people how to master their mind. And you know, across all platforms, I have over 1.5 million people that follow me across all platforms on the internet. And in the past 18 months, my videos on mindset and on consciousness have gotten over 1 billion views, which is a crazy thing for me to think about and to say. Over 1 billion views in the past 18 months. So I'm excited to dive into this, and I have a lot of experience with this, so you can trust that everything I tell you, I'm a nerd. I like to dive into all of these things scientifically. This is all scientifically proven, and it will be really good to dive into. So if you guys are ready to dive in, type the word yes over in the comment box. We're going to go ahead and dive in. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I want to jump in, and I want to give you guys all of the goods. So type yes over to the side if you can see me, hear me, and you're ready to go. So Daniel says yes. All right, see a bunch of you guys putting up yes. Cool. All right, so before we do that, the only thing that I do want to make sure that I tell you guys is I want to have, before I go into this, I want to make a pact with you guys. My phone is right here. My phone is not on. And I want to make sure that if we're sitting here, that you and I are going to be able to be here together. We're not going to be distracted. There's not going to be any Facebook, any Instagram, any Twitter, Snapchat, text messages, phone calls, kids running in and out, whatever it is. We're going to be here for about 45 minutes or so. So I want to make sure that if we're here, that we're here together and that you are committed to the next 45 minutes to trying to figure out how to master your mind, to learn all of this, and to learn all of this, but then put it into practice. So can you all dedicate the next 45 minutes of your life to making yourself better with absolutely no distractions? If you can do that, then we are ready to go. So we're going to talk about mindset mastery. I'm going to dive in, and I'm going to dive in really deep, really quick, and just tell you guys exactly what it is, because it is it's a lot to take in, and I want to make sure that I have all of you guys here with me and ready to go. So I'm going to talk about what I call the paradigm square. So when I'm talking about the paradigm square, this right here is super, super important to understand. And the reason why is because this is how the world is processed in your brain. And this is how the world is processed right here. And this is how you react to the world. So this right here is how the world is processed. This is how you react to it. And this right here, if you can understand this, this could be the most important thing you'll ever learn in your entire life. And I can tell you, not being sarcastic in any sort of way, I've taught this many times to tens of thousands of people, and I've had many people come up to me and say, that is the most mind-boggling thing that I've ever learned. Now I finally understand why I do this. Now I finally understand why I've always been a self-sabotager, why I always do this, why I always do this. And so I want to make sure that you guys understand the importance of this, because I don't want to build it up too much, but I've had a lot of people say that it's the most important thing that they've ever learned in their life. So I want to make sure that you guys are ready to dive into it. So what we're going to be talking about is your paradigm. So this right here is what most of this is going to be about. Your paradigm is your view of the world, your entire view. So the way I like to explain it, and I always have these here, if I put these glasses on, you might be able to see, maybe not. These glasses right here have a little bit of a yellow tint to them. So everything that I see, if I look at this this white piece of paper, it looks like it's yellow, right? If I take this off, oh, it's white, okay. But it looks like it's yellow. So everything that I see, excuse me, no matter what it is, has a little bit of a yellow tint to it. Your paradigm will give the entire world a little bit of a tint to it, depending on what your paradigm is. Now, I'll tell you this, 99.9% of people that I have worked with and spoken to say that their paradigm is I am not enough. Now, I want you guys to do this, and I don't want you to put I'm not enough as your answer. I want you to put anything else that's I'm not enough. Over to the side in the comment box, do me a favor. Put down what your number one fear in the world is. So what's your number one fear in the world? And I don't mean heights. I don't mean spiders. I mean, what's the number one thing that's holding you back from being the person that you want to be? So go ahead and type it over to the side. What is the number one thing that's holding you back from being the person that you want to be? Let's see. What's your number one fear that's holding you back from being the person you want to be? All right, so we got, here we go, now it's popping up. Fear of failure, my health, fear of losing, anxiety, fear of not being liked for who I am. My past is holding me back, my previous experiences, overthinking, working too hard and missing out on the best years of my life, the fear of failure, other people's judgment, fear of failure, my attitude, not knowing my goals, writing down my goals, not enough, guilt, being sued, humiliated, fear of rejection, that I will not succeed and I will let my family down, that I won't be taken serious, letting down my family, judgment from my friends and family, wrong decisions, not enough knowledge. All right, what else? Keep putting them down. The other thing I want to make sure of is that we don't have any lurkers. A lurker is somebody who just sits and watches and doesn't comment. If I didn't want any interaction with you guys, I would have just made a video and posted it up. So make sure there's no lurkers. Make sure that everyone who's here is participating, because that's when you take what we call passive learning versus active learning. Passive learning, you only remember about 10% of what you learn if you're just passively learning, sitting back and listening. When you're actively learning and participating, it's up to 9 to 10 times more of a recall rate, which means you're more likely to remember it 9 to 10 times better. So I want to make sure that you guys are, talking back and forth and you're in it and chatting here. So the fear of failure, laziness, judgment, wrong decisions, not enough knowledge, letting my family down, society, fear of not having financial abundance, failure, not living a fulfilled life. So here's the way that I see it, just so you guys have an idea, is the way that I see it is like this. It's very common that the exact same things happen. Now, I've done this for, over 10 years now with thousands and thousands of people. And what I notice is that everybody has pretty similar fears, but then there's one core fear at the center of all of these, okay? Only one core at the center of all of this stuff. And let me explain to you. So as different as we all are, we're all extremely, extremely, extremely similar. If you're looking at this, the center, just so you guys know, if you have an idea, is not enough. At the core of pretty much all human fears that are holding us back, it is the fear of I am not enough. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say, and I always see like, oh, these are just outliers of the main core fear. So for instance, things that popped up a lot that we were just talking about. The fear of not being enough. Well, you feel like you're not enough. Obviously, that's an easy one. The fear of, let's say, failure. The fear of failure because you feel like you're not enough to succeed. The fear of success because you feel like you're not enough to succeed. And if you do succeed, you won't be able to hold on to that success. The fear of not having enough money because you feel like you're not enough to make the money. And if you do make it, you're afraid that you might lose the money or make bad investments. Fear of not being a good parent because you feel like you're not enough to be a good parent. The fear of not being happy because you feel like you're not enough to make yourself happy. The fear of everything. All of these things go to the core of I'm not enough. Do you guys see that? Type yes in the comment box if you can see how pretty much everyone's fear that we put over to the side has a core of I'm not enough. If you see that, type, if you can understand what I'm talking about, type yes over to the side because it's very, very common. I have never met a person whose paradigm is anything than I am not enough. And it's just, I don't know why it works that way. It's just the way that we process the world. There's a lot of different things I think play into it. One thing that I think plays into it a lot, just so you guys know, is that the average child is reprimanded 8 times more than they're praised, right? The average child, let me say that again, is reprimanded 8 times more than they are praised. That means the average child thinks in their head, I am not enough, 8 times more than they think that they're enough. Right? The average child thinks that they're not enough 8 times more than they think that they're enough. So those of you guys that have children or want to have children, this is why it is extremely, extremely important not to raise your children negatively with negative reinforcement, but with positive reinforcement. Because the average child thinks I'm not enough because a lot of parents, and this is just, not to be taken the wrong way, but a lot of people raise their children the same way that they train a dog. A dog pees inside, you put it out, you smack its nose, you put it outside. You smack its nose, you put it outside. You smack its nose, you put it outside. Over and over and over again, and the dog eventually goes, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to go out there. Well, that's exactly how it usually works with kids. And kids are crazy, and you're always worried about their safety and them being safe. And then they go and they run and they do something crazy, and you snap, and you're a human. It's just the way that it is. Even if you had great parents, there's at one point they probably snapped. Even if you are a great parent, there's probably one point that you probably snapped. When you snap or when it's negative reinforcement, the child thinks I am not enough. Is this making sense to you guys, all of this? If it is, let me know over in the comment box because I want to make sure I'm very thorough on this before I dive into how this works right here. I'm trying to make you understand that for some reason, almost every single person in the world at the core of them feel like they're not enough. Now, not every single one, because a lot of people understand this in different ways and have broken through their paradigm and then started to build their self-confidence. So this is the key to self-confidence, the key to self-love, the key to success, the key to financial success, happiness, whatever it is. This is the most important thing that you'll ever learn because if you can understand this, it'll make you successful, it'll make you happy, it'll make you a better parent, it'll make your children better. It will literally make everything in your life better if you realize that you are looking through the lens of I am not enough every single day when you go out. And if you only look through the lens of I'm not enough, then you're only going to see places where you're not enough. And let me explain what I mean by this and why I call it, the lens of perception. Your lens of perception, if you can understand this, it kind of puts everything in place. At one point in time, right now, all of us have over 2 trillion bits of information that our brain could process at one point in time. 2 trillion bits. Now, the thing that you need to realize is that our brain only processes 200 bits per second. So literally what our brain is doing is filtering out trillions of bits of information, sights, sounds, taste, feeling, all of these things. It's filtering out all of these things, and it's only working with your lens of perception. So it's going to filter out everything that doesn't make sense to the brain. So let me give you an example of what I mean by lens of perception. Here's what I mean by lens of perception, okay? If this makes sense, everybody, let me know in the comments if the lens of perception makes sense to you, because this is an important part for you to understand. So the lens of perception is this. Our brain, I don't want to go too crazy and geeky on you, but there's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. If you guys have ever bought a new car and you never see that car, but then when you buy it, you see the car everywhere, right? It's because it now holds a piece in your brain. It's called the reticular activating system. And when something in your brain, now that car exists in your brain, it will now see that car everywhere where it didn't see it before, because it now has some sort of value for it to remember, right? So if you feel like you're not enough, your brain is going to find, if you're looking through that lens of perception, your brain is going to find all of the places where I'm not enough. Now, let me explain this to you so you guys have an idea. And please be honest with you, okay? Please be honest with me. Does anybody have a hard time accepting compliments? If you have a hard time accepting compliments, like it makes you a little awkward, type yes over in the comment box, because I want to show you guys why this is. If someone gives you a compliment and you're like, oh yeah, well, I tried, but it wasn't as good as I wanted to be. I could have done better with this. I could have done better. So we say, Daniel saying yes, Mary, Rick, Sarah. So a lot of you guys are saying yes. This is the reason why. Is because when someone comes up to you, let's say you have whatever it was, a baseball game, right? Let's use that as an example. Someone's like, man, you did really great in that baseball game. And you're like, yeah, but I did strike out in the 3rd inning. I wish I would have been so much better had I not struck out, right? And so they're trying to say something positive to you, but the only thing that you can think about is the negative. And the reason why is because at the core, you feel somewhat like you're not enough. And so the lens that you're looking at is only where you made the mistakes and you were not good enough in the baseball game. And so this is the important thing to understand. This is your paradigm. This is your subconscious mind, right? Your subconscious mind takes up about 95% of your thoughts throughout the day. Your thoughts are your conscious mind. That's about 5%. So if we can dive into your paradigm, which is 95% of the way that you think of I'm not enough, we can change this, then your thoughts start to change, your actions start to change, your results start to change. So let me pause real quick. Is this making sense to you guys? I want to make sure that I can go really deep and really fast sometimes, and I want to make sure that I'm not going too crazy and throwing too much at you guys at one point in time, because I can go really deep on talking about the brain and all of that stuff, and I can geek out. But I want to make sure this is making sense. So this right here is about 95%. So you guys are saying yes, it makes sense. Makes sense. Very helpful. Great. Okay, cool. Your paradigm is your subconscious mind. 95% of what you think. So if you think I'm not enough, 95% of your thoughts go to I'm not enough, then it's going to leak over into your conscious thoughts, okay? And your actions are going to be dictated by your thoughts, and your results are going to be dictated by your actions. So let me give you an example, and I'll use myself as an example, okay? Because it's the easiest if I just use myself as an example. So my paradigm is I'm not enough, and the reason why it is because when I was younger, my father was an alcoholic, and and just so you know, our paradigm always comes from our parents, unless you didn't live with your parents. And I'll dive deeper into that in a second. But the thing that I dove into is that I'm not enough. And the reason why is because my father was an alcoholic. And he was an alcoholic. He ended up passing away when I was 15 for being an alcoholic. And so in my little kid brain, I must have processed it. This is me figuring this out now that I've been older. This is me figuring out, how did I process this as a child? How did I think about this as a kid? And I must have thought, I'm not enough because my father loves alcohol more than he loves me. Because there was nothing that I could do to make my father stop drinking, right? He had his own demons, things that he was dealing with from his past that he never overcame. And so now I consciously know that that wasn't true, that my dad didn't love alcohol that he loved more than he loved me. But as a little kid, we're not as emotionally as intelligent as we are now, right? And so what I want you guys to realize is that with me, my paradigm was that I'm not enough because of the fact that my father was an alcoholic. And I thought, man, he loves alcohol more than he loves me. So if my paradigm is I'm not enough, then I'm always going to see places where I'm not enough. And that's going to leak over into my thoughts. It's going to turn into my actions, and it's going to turn into my results. So I'll give you an example of how this happens in the real world, okay? I used to, when it really clicked for me of how this works, I had a sales goal. I used to work for a sales company, okay? And my sales goal was to sell $10,000 over 2 weeks, right? It was to sell $10,000 over 2 weeks. Now, what happened, and you guys can let me know if you've done this, right? I was a master of self-sabotage, okay? Where my 2-week goal was to sell $10,000. And I remember that in week 1, I sold $6,000. And I was like, holy crap, I'm about to hit this goal. This is going to be great. I'm going to hit this goal. And I worked really hard to get to $6,000 in sales. My goal was $10,000 now. And so what happens? We get the case of the I deserve it's, right? The number one way that people self-sabotage is they get a case of the I deserve it's. Oh, I woke up early every single day and made phone calls last week. I don't have to wake up this week and make all the phone calls. I deserve to sleep in, right? So I don't take all of the exact same action that I took in this week. Oh man, I didn't, I did all of these things, and I don't have to do that. I deserve it. And this deals with weight too, and I'll talk about weight in just a second. Well, then the next week, I was so far ahead. The next week, somehow, I only sold $3,000 because what happened? I took my foot off the gas. And so I only sold $9,000 when I wanted to sell 10. And I was like, man, every time I set a goal, I come up just a little bit short. Every time I set a goal, I come up just a little bit short. I always let my foot off the gas right before I hit my goal, right? Does anybody else relate to this? Does anybody else really, let me know in the comments if you're really good at self-sabotage, because this is how I was. I was a master of self-sabotage. I wanted to hit a goal and I would be so close to hitting the goal, and then I wouldn't hit the goal because I would get a case of the I deserve it. I wouldn't do what I needed to do. Why would I not do what I needed to do? Because check this out. If I would have sold $10,000 or maybe even more, that would have proved to myself that I am enough, right? Because I passed my goal. I went further than I was supposed to go. I would have destroyed my goal, right? And I'm like, man, this is the reason why I'm not getting what I want to, because I was thinking that I'm not enough. So I was not getting the results that I wanted to because I wasn't putting in the actions, right? So look, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to. I wasn't selling $10,000. Wasn't getting the results that I wanted to because I didn't put the action in to hit my goals. I did in the first week, but in the second week, I didn't. I didn't put the action in. And that came from my thoughts. My thoughts of I'm not enough. My thoughts of the I deserve it. My thoughts of the I can sleep in. My thoughts of the I'm going to hit my goal, and then I'm not going to hit my goal, and I'm back and forth. This also happens with weight. This is why people will lose a lot of weight and they gain all of it back. Is because their paradigm kicks in and I'm not enough kicks in, and they get a case of the I deserve it. Oh, I lost 20 pounds in the past couple months. I deserve an extra little bit to eat today. Oh, I lost 20 pounds the last month. I deserve to have an extra, cookie at the end of this dinner. Oh, I did this. And then what they realize is it's never one big decision. It's a bunch of little teeny tiny decisions that hold us back from getting the results that we want to, right? So does this make sense to you guys? Looks like it. So you guys are saying yes, yes, yes. You guys can relate to this. Yes, that's me. Yes, I self-sabotage. I love to procrastinate. Okay. Someone just asked, how does this happen in relationships? Well, you get into a relationship with someone who's really great and they're amazing, and you screw it up somehow because at the core, you feel like you're not enough, right? The person's too good for you, and subconsciously, you do stuff to self-sabotage and screw it all up. So, your paradigm feeds into your thoughts feed into your actions feed into results, your results feed back into your paradigm. Now, let me give you another really quick example of exactly how this looks, and you guys will relate to this, right? So if you all have a thermostat inside of your house, for us in America, I know we have people from all over the world, but I'm going to go ahead and use Fahrenheit instead of Celsius because I don't know Celsius. But let's say you set your thermostat to 72 degrees, right? Well, what happens is the air is never going to stay exactly 72 degrees. It's always going to fluctuate. So let's say that it starts to get really hot inside and it gets to 74 degrees, right? What will happen? What will happen is that you will have whenever the thermostat gets a little bit too far away from normal, whatever it's set at, when it gets a little bit too far away, a mechanism clicks in and it pulls it back down, right? You guys all know how this works, but there's a mechanism that will pull it back to what it is set to, right? So it'll get to 74 degrees and it'll pull it back to 72 degrees. Now, another example, let's say it gets to 70 degrees. Once it gets too far away, the mechanism clicks on and it pulls it back to where it should be. This is exactly how your paradigm works as well. Now, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you, and I want you to be honest with yourself, okay? And put it over to the side. How long have you been stuck in the current comfort zone that you're in? The current comfort zone, please type it in the comments. How long have you been stuck in that comfort zone? 2 years? Okay, so can you guys all see me and hear me? If you could see and hear me, type yes over to the side. It looks like a couple people say that they got disconnected. If you can see me and hear me, type yes over to the side. Sorry, it looks like there's some people that got disconnected. Okay, it looks like you can. Anna says it looks like we lost you for a second. Okay, looks like we're back. Just want to make sure we're working. So the question that I asked you guys, okay, cool. The question that I asked you is, how long have you been stuck in the current comfort zone that you're in? So the comfort zone that you're currently stuck in right now, how long have you been there? Is it 6 months? Is it a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? How long have you been stuck in that comfort zone? So we have 10 years or more, 12 years, 3 years, 15 years, 6 years, 20 plus years, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Okay. Cool. Jamie, it looks like there's a problem with your computer. It keeps putting the number 1 over and over and over and over again. Not really sure why that's happening. So it looks like you guys have been stuck in comfort zones for a while. Let me explain to you why this comfort zone exists. What happens is, this is the key to self-sabotage. This is why you guys self-sabotage, is because you're used to 72 degrees in your life, right? If things start getting better than what you're used to, you get a case of the I deserve it. You get a case of the sleeping in, being lazy. You get a case of the not doing whatever it is that you need to do to be successful, procrastinating, negative self-talk, all of these things. So you have the 72 degrees. Candy says lost signal. Sorry, guys, I don't know if it's still losing signal or not. If you could see and hear me, type yes over to the side one more time. I'd appreciate it, because someone just said that they lost signal. So I want to make sure I'm coming through. So this is the comfort zone you're stuck in. So when you start to get out of your comfort zone and things start to get really good, okay, you guys are all saying yes. Okay, great, thank you. When things start to get really good, what happens? You self-sabotage because that's too far out of your comfort zone. Now, you don't consciously self-sabotage, right? But what happens is you subconsciously self-sabotage because 95% of what you do is in your subconscious, right? So you can want to be successful. You can want to be happy. You can want to be famous or to have great children or life or family or relationships, whatever it is. But that's only 5%. The other 95% is really getting in your way, right? So that's important to think about. Now, you guys can also see this happens in the exact same way if you get to 70 degrees. If your life starts to get worse than it normally is, if you start to have less in your bank account, for instance, than you normally do, the reason the reason why you literally lock it down is because you start to get nervous because you're too far away from the comfort zone, right? And so what happens? Who's ever done this before? Type yes over to the side if you've done this before. You're used to seeing, let's say, $3,000 in your bank account. You have one really big bill come in and it puts you down to $2,000, right? Type yes over to the side if you go on complete lockdown. What I mean by that is like you don't talk to friends, you don't go out, you don't have an extra drink, you don't go out to drink and get any drinks at all on the weekend. You start buying all of the cheap stuff at the store whenever you go grocery shopping. Type yes over to the side if you've ever done that before. Looks like a bunch of looks like this is happening. You guys have done this before. That's because you're away from your 72 degrees. Now, you guys also know this probably happens. You get one really big paycheck. Let's say you're used to seeing $3,000 in your bank account and you have $4,000, right? You don't go out and buy like a TV or one big thing. You buy a couple things, some really small things. Like you go out and buy, extra piece of candy when you're checking out. Or you go and, have one extra, a couple times in the week, you go out and have, instead of cooking at home, you go out and cook or you go out and eat, right? And what happens is that 4,000 slowly turns back into 2,000, right? So you guys are saying, yes, yes, I've become a master money juggler and I hate it. I'm so bad about this, buying extra when more comes in. The reason why is because of your paradigm. It is your subconscious that is holding you back, right? So now you guys are all like, holy crap, this is insane. How do I get past this? Okay. Well, I've got some key questions for you guys. I want you to jot these down with a pen and paper. You don't need to answer them over to the side, but I want you to jot them down so that you have them and you can answer them on your own whenever, we're off of this call. The first question that I have for you is, what is my paradigm? Okay. So jot that question down. What is my paradigm? I'm going to jot these down so I make sure I have them for you guys. What is my paradigm? The next question you want to jot down is, where did it come from, right? Where did my paradigm come from? Now, your paradigm, 99% of the time, comes from your parents between the age of 0 and 6, right? These are what they call your pre-verbal years. These are when, things really just, you're the most influenced, and you're also the least emotionally stable, right? You're the least emotionally intelligent. So something can happen and you would look at it now and it's not a big deal, but as a 4-year-old, it's like the world is crumbling, right? And so where did it come from? What has to do with this is this question: whose love did I crave as a child? Okay? Whose love did I crave as a child? Was it my mother's love or was it my father's love? That's what you want to write down over to the side, inside of your notebook. Whose love did I crave as a child? Okay? Whose love did I crave as a child? Anybody off the top of your head, do you know which parent? Type over to the side if you know which parent whose love you craved when you were a child. Was it your mother or was it your father? And what I mean by that is like, who gave you less love, or who do you feel like you had to work more for to impress them? Okay, so we have my dad, both parents. Can it be both parents? Asked Mallory. Yeah, it can, for sure. Can it be both? Yes. Dad, mother. My dad, he was addicted to drugs. My dad, mother, dad, mother, both. Probably my mom, my dad, but it was about equal. Father. Okay, so whose love did I crave as a child? And here's the key question, okay? What did I have to do to get it? Okay, so whose love did I crave as a child, and what did I have to do to get it? That's the key question to ask yourself. I'll give you a couple of examples just to kind of, get your brain going. So I have a coaching client of mine, and I'll tell you more about my coaching in a little while so you guys have an idea. But I have a coaching client of mine, and his father was a Green Beret colonel. And Green Beret, so basically he was in the Army, and his dad was a great dad. He said he was loving. He loved his dad. His dad was amazing. But there was one thing, is that his dad was very, very regimented. Everything had to be perfect, to the point where he remembers every time he would go to put the milk carton away, his dad would walk in, open up the fridge, fix the milk carton, and shut it. And so what happens is, even though his dad was great and he knew his dad loved him, he always in the back of his mind thought, I'm not even good enough to put the freaking milk carton away. Everything that I do, my father corrects me. I come home with a B, and he asks me why I don't have an A. I have an A, and he asks me why I don't have an A+. This is very common for a lot of children, that their parents are this way, where they try to make them better, but in trying to make them better, the kid's constantly thinking that I'm not enough because of the fact that they feel like they can't live up to the standards that their parents set for them. Does this hit home with anyone? Type yes over to the side if this hits home with a few of you guys, where you can understand, oh crap, yeah, now I'm starting to understand who I had to be or what I had to do in order to get my parents' love. So the question is, whose love did I crave as a child, and what did I have to do, or who did I have to be in order to get it, right? What did I have to do, or who did I have to be in order to get it? Now, here's the reality. Your parents did the best they could with what they have. You don't have to be a child psychologist in order to bring a child into the world. And so no matter how good your parents were, there's a pretty good chance they screwed it up, and they could have screwed it up pretty bad on accident. And even if they were really good, everybody has their moments where they screw up, and we're just not emotionally intelligent as a child, and we just don't process the world the same way that we do now, right? Alejandra says, oh God, I may be doing the same to my children. Yes, then that's the key. That's why it's important for every person to learn this for yourself, but also if you do have children, Angela says, crap, I do this with my son. If you do have children, this is the most important thing for you to learn for yourself, but then also for your children. So if you have children, if you're going to have children, this is what you want to learn in order to bring children up in this world who are not absolutely bonkers, right? So this is super, super important for you to master, okay? So what is my paradigm? Where did it come from? Who did I have to be, or who did I get it from? Whose love did I crave? Did I crave my mother's love, my father's love, whatever it was? What did I have to do in order to get it? Or who did I have to be in order to get their love? Oh, I had to be perfect in order to get their love. Or, I had to be perfect and I couldn't be perfect because that's literally impossible. So I felt like I never got their love. So Mallory says, can we teach them similar things to undo the damage to our kids? Yeah, I teach these things more in depth. So you guys know I have a group coaching that's called Mindset University, where I teach these types of things, and I teach much more in depth because I think that it's important for people to understand this, but also for them to understand for their own freaking children, because this is happening with children, right? And a lot of it has to come down to this right here, the 8-to-1. They're reprimanded 8 times more than they're praised. So that's very important for you guys to realize. So real quick, yes, type yes over to the side if this is all making sense, because I know that this is a lot. You guys probably, when you signed up for this, you thought, oh, this guy's going to be like, hey, here's key number 1 to being successful. Here's key number 2 to being successful. Here's key to 3 to being successful. I'm not like all of the other people that you're going to see that have books and all of these different things that just kind of give you the fluff. Like, I go straight to the point. I go straight to the point quick, and I give you all of the stuff you need to know based on the actual way that the human brain works and the way that the human brain processes the information that is coming into it, right? So this is a lot to take in, I understand. So all of this is good. Okay, so the key to it, and here's the thing that I really want you to focus on, before we get off the call, and we still have some time, so we're not done yet, is those questions that I gave you, okay? Those questions that I gave you. What is my paradigm? Is it I'm not enough? If it is, where did it come from, right? Who did it come from? Whose love did I crave as a child? What did I have to do, or who did I have to be in order to get their love? Right? Emily asked a question, would you present this the same way to substance abuse and recovery settings? Yes, 100%. I have taught it to people who have substance abuse issues because if someone has, here's the thing, and this is a little bit off topic, I guess, but if someone has an addiction, and not just drugs, I'm talking about there's a million different addictions that we have. There's people that are addicted to work. There's people that are addicted to food. There's people that are addicted to drugs. There's people that are addicted to working out. All of these things, right? Addiction comes from trauma, and trauma is processed in your brain, and you create a paradigm from that trauma. That's the way that it works. I've never met somebody who's addicted to something and doesn't have any sort of trauma in their life that happened when they were younger, right? That's what you have to realize. So the only way, and this is the important thing, the only way to change your paradigm is to become aware of this, and is this, your results. You have to get results that are better than your paradigm thinks that you are. You have to get results that are better. So if your goal is 10,000, you need to sell at least 10,000 or more and get the results that prove your paradigm wrong, right? You have to get results, results, results. So I would jot this down with your pen and paper. Results. Because here's the key. Here's what's interesting, okay? Your thoughts, they don't really matter, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing. Even if you don't believe in yourself, you can still put in the willpower to take action, right? So you have to replace your thoughts and your beliefs with willpower. This is the key to unlocking the paradigm circle, right? Paradigm square. You have to put in the willpower. This is the beautiful thing. As long as you put in the action, you'll get the results you're supposed to. So for instance, let's say, I don't believe in myself, but I know that in order to sell $10,000 over 2 weeks, all I have to do is make 100 phone calls on week 1 and show up to all my appointments, and make 100 phone calls on week 2 and show up to my appointments. That's all I have to do based on my statistics, my average order, my closing ratio, all of these things. All I have to do is do 100 phone calls in week 1, and all I have to do is do 100 phone calls on week 2, right? So even if I don't believe in myself, if my thoughts say and my paradigms say I'm not enough, as long as I just replace my belief with willpower and I say, okay, I don't believe in myself, but I'm just going to pick up the phone 100 times and make phone calls. I'm just going to pick up the phone call 100 times and make phone calls. That's the action that I need to get the results that I need to prove my paradigm wrong. Does this make sense? Type yes over to the side if this is making sense to you guys. You replace your thoughts and your beliefs with willpower. You don't have to believe in yourself in order to take action. That's the key. You do not have to believe that if you keep getting 74, 74, 74, 74, 74, what's going to happen? Oh, are you guys seeing me? Type yes if you guys can see me. I don't know why we're losing connection. It says we lost connection. If you guys can see me, let's see. Let me type it over to the side. Okay. I don't know. I'm literally plugged into Google Fiber, so I have the fastest possible internet in the United States that I'm plugged into. Not on my Wi-Fi, I'm plugged into it. So there's really no reason why it should be going out. But we're back, which is good. Okay. We're back again. We're back online. Okay, looks like we're good. So what I was saying before I lost you guys is that the difference between your paradigm and the thermostat is this. If you get results at 74, 74, 74, 74, 74, your paradigm will have to move up, right? Confidence comes from results. If you've ever met somebody who is confident, they were not confident all the time. They became confident because they started getting results that were better than their paradigm. And they thought, oh, I'm better than I thought I was. I'm better than I thought I was. I'm good. I'm actually really good. I'm good at this. Damn, I'm really good at this. And that's where their confidence comes from. Nobody was born with confidence. Confidence comes from results. And if your paradigm is set at 72 degrees, right? If we're using this as an example, and you keep getting results at 74, 74, 74, your paradigm eventually goes, all right, 73. All right, 74. All right, 75. And that's what happens is your confidence just goes. And what happens is your paradigm of I'm not enough slowly starts to disappear, right? Does this make sense, everybody? Type yes over to the side if you can now see how all of this works and how this is the most important thing that you will ever learn. Because this is literally figuring out how this thing right here works. And when you figure out how this thing right here works and how it processes the world and you become better, guess what? Everyone around you becomes better. Your children become better. Your spouses, your family, your friends, everyone becomes better. And you have a better life, and then so do they. So this is why this is the most important thing that people will ever learn. So, was this pretty good? Let me know, and I'll answer your questions in just a second if you want me to answer your questions. But was this pretty good? If this was good, let me know over to the comments if this was good. Because I know a lot of people, when I get on and I teach these things and I talk fast and I go really deep into subjects, that a lot of people feel like they're drinking from a fire hose, where it's literally like it's just you're just trying to get pieces of everything, and you're like, holy crap, this is a lot, right? So you guys are saying, yes, yes, this is amazing. Yes, I always enjoy your content. Yes, it was awesome. Perfect. Well, I appreciate that. So the questions that I have for you guys, before I go in and answer your questions, and you guys can ask your question in just a second, is the questions that you want, the things I want you to take away. Results, results, results. That will change your paradigm. Replace your thoughts and your beliefs with willpower to take action, and your results will change, right? Then I want you guys to answer these questions whenever you get some time. What is my paradigm? Where did it come from? Whose love did I crave as a child? Was it your father's or mother's love? What did I have to do, or who did I have to be in order to get it? Okay? What did I have to do, or who did I have to be in order to get it? Super, super important for you guys to think about and for you to figure out as well. William says, legit. So this is legit. So you guys are saying, yes, this is great. Colleen says, I really enjoyed it. I would take a whole class on it. Well, I have many classes on it, just so you guys know. Open my eyes. Yes, this is making sense. This is amazing. Amazing how you can do it in one flip chart paper. I'm telling you, I've taught this thousands of times. I just know how to do this now and make it short and concise and super quick. So let me tell you this. If you guys are, I'll say this, type yes over to the side. If you guys are interested, and I'll tell you real quick, and then I'll answer your questions. If you're interested in learning about my coaching, where I go a little bit more in depth, where if you really like this, but you want coaching every single week, and you want me to talk about Mindset University, type yes over to the side, and I'll tell you about it real quick before I answer your questions. Because I do actual coaching. Like this is what I do. This is my livelihood. This is what I always have been doing for the past 13 years now. So I could tell you a little bit more about how I do this with a core group, a smaller group of people. You guys are saying yes, 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 please. All right, so let me tell you about this real quick before you guys, before I answer any of your questions. So I do have something that's called Mindset University, so you guys know. Now, Mindset University, Mindset Uni. There's a lot of different things that come with Mindset University. So I have a core group of people. If you guys know, I have millions of people that follow me on the internet. I can't give all of my information to everybody and talk to every single person, help every single person out. That's literally impossible for me as one human on this earth, obviously. So what I do is I have a core group of people in my Mindset University, which is my group coaching program, and I'll tell you about it real quick. So what you get when you join Mindset University is I do Facebook Lives every single week. So it's literally weekly Facebook Lives, exactly like this, what we're doing. So I have a private Facebook group that I do weekly Facebook Lives. So every single week, I go live inside of this group and I teach them something every single week from, I literally have about 4 to 5 hours of lessons just on what we covered tonight, but way more in depth. So I have like 3 or 4 videos on that. I have a live coaching call of me walking through with somebody so you can see how to figure out how they figure out their paradigm and how I help them figure it out. And you can start to figure yours out. I have lessons on how to make more money, how to change your psychology around money, how to plan better, you know, how to meditate, how to have the right morning routine. All of these different lessons. I teach all of those types of things. If it deals with the mind, if it deals with success, happiness, or money, I do a weekly Facebook Live every single week. So that's a key part of it. The second part, whoa, hey-o. The second parts of Mindset University, getting a little aggressive, I guess, huh? Second part of Mindset University is that I've been doing Mindset University now for almost 3 years. And so every single video that I've ever made, you get access to. So you get access to the entire video library, which is somewhere between around, I would honestly say 40 hours, 30 to 40 hours of videos. You guys like that? You guys like, you guys are laughing. So the video library, so you get, you know, brand new Facebook Lives every single week where you can interact with me, but you would get access to the entire video library, every single video that I've ever put out inside of this private group. Also, what's cool about it is you get access to the entire group as well. So there's over 200 people that are in this group, and everybody who's in this group is paying to be in this group. So you know that everybody who's in here is more focused on their success than almost anybody else that you'll meet, because everybody wants something for free nowadays. And if somebody's paying to be in a group, well, don't you think that they're probably more focused on growth, and these are the people that you want? So you get time with me, which is, you know, when I have a ton of different people. Oh, looks like we went offline. Type yes over to the side if you can see me again, or type that I'm back now, because it looks like you guys lost me, and then it looks like I came back. So let me know if you guys can see me. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know what's going on. This is weird. It's like I have dial-up internet or something here. Maybe something's happening in Austin that I don't know about. So you get the group. The fourth thing that you get is you get more time with me. So if you guys know, if I do a Facebook Live on my main page, I'll have anywhere between 500 to 1,000 people on it. And I'll have thousands of comments. And there's no way that I can answer every person's question on that. There's absolutely no way that I can catch up and answer every single person's comment. So in this group with only 200 people, if you ask a question on my Facebook Lives in this private group, well, then obviously you're going to get your questions answered. So you get more time with me, which is kind of like personal coaching, because if you have a question, you ask that question, and guess what? I'll answer the question. So you get more time with me, which is good as well. Also, another thing that you get is interviews. So for instance, I just put up an interview with my good friend Hal Elrod. He wrote the book Miracle Morning, which just passed a million copies sold. Has anybody read Miracle Morning? Let me know if you have. So we have an hour-long interview that's just inside of Mindset University. I have an interview with my friend David Osborne, who's worth over $100 million, on how he sets his goals, how he sets his life up, and how he reminds himself of his goals. So it looks like a few of you guys have read his books. I have people like Nick Santanastasso, interviews with him. He's literally was born with one arm and no legs, and he's only got one finger on his one arm that he does have. So like how he cultivates a mindset around happiness and not taking the victim mindset, but the victor mindset is what he calls it. So I have interviews that you get access to as well. And then every single month, we have a book club. So we pick a book, and at the end of the month, I give my entire video breakdown of the book. I give an entire video breakdown of the book, and then we all talk about what we learned from it. So, and we're trying to help each other to be successful, right? Oh, it looks like I was disconnected, and now I'm back. Good? It looks like we're good. Don't know what to tell you guys. Looks like we're back. So type yes over to the side if you can see how this would really help you out going into back in 2019. I mean, we're going into 2019. This right here, what we're going to be doing this next month is really working hard to help each other have a head start into 2019. So we want not to just start at our goals of when 2019 rolls around. We want that January 1st, 2019, we're already having a head start on our goals and helping each other be successful. So Looks like we're good. Looks like I'm back again. Good, good, good. Okay. So to give you guys an idea, if you were to hire me just to speak, to go to one of the companies and speak at a bunch of companies, it's anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 for an hour. So literally, you're getting $5,000 to $10,000 worth of value every single week. But you also get every single other talk. You get the group of people. You get time with me. You get all the interviews with successful people, and you get the book club. Now, let me tell you this. This price is $119 a month. Now, this is what I used to charge for this group, but what I did over this past year, so you guys have an idea, what I did over this past year is I decided that what I wanted to do was try to get more people in, to help more people and to impact more people. And can you guys see me? Type yes over to the side. Andrea said that you lost me. Sorry, guys. I don't know why this disconnection keeps going and happening this way, but if you could see me, type yes over to the side. I want to make sure that we're coming through. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, sorry. I don't know why it's working this way. I used to charge $119 a month for this, which I have many people who have paid $119 a month for this group. And to be honest with you, it's a really good deal at $119. And I charged that for over 2 years, okay? What I did this year is I decided to completely close the doors and not let people in. But what I did was I decided that I would every once in a while, very rarely, I've only done it twice this year, open up the doors for people to join if they want to, and I let them join on webinars, but it's only this price if you join on a webinar. So the price that it is, if you join today, is $47 a month. So you get all of this. You get the weekly Facebook Lives. You get the video library of over 30 to 40 hours of videos. You get the group. You get the time with me. You get the interviews, and you get the book club. All of that for only $47 a month. And now, just so you guys know, this right here is not going to go past this webinar at all. This is just literally for this webinar. So as soon as we get off this webinar, it will disappear. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, there should be something that just popped up, and it should say join Mindset University or something. Do me a favor real quick, hit that button and let me know if it takes you to a different page, because sometimes this stuff is funky, as you can tell with these. But hit that button and let me know if it works and sends you to the other page. So if it does, type yes if it worked for you, because I want to make sure that it's working. So you can join tonight and only tonight for $47 a month, which is basically $1.50 a day. And there's no contracts. You can stay as long or as little as you want to. And if you want to join, and this price is only on the webinar as well. If you want to join for the entire year, it's $479 for the entire year, which is the best deal that you're going to find. So it's $47 a month, or if you want to join for the entire year, to give you an idea, this is over $600 off of the normal price. And I'm only doing it because of the fact that I know that people need to get in right now in order to have a head start to 2019, because we only have about 5 weeks left until 2019. And I want to make sure that I can get as many people in as possible at a good deal. So if you join tonight while we're on this webinar, you can join for $47 a month, or you can join for $479 for the entire year. This is over $70 off on this price, and this is over $600, $700, something like that when you do the math, off the entire year. So it looks like it's working for you. So as you guys are joining, if you have any questions, type them over to the side, and I'll answer any questions you guys have, whether it's what I covered here or if it's anything with Mindset University. Ask me any questions. And for those of you guys that are joining or have just joined, type that you joined over to the side so I can give you a quick shout out, and want to make sure that I congratulate you for joining in on the Mindset University. So for those of you guys that have just joined in, or you're going to join in on Mindset University, or you're doing it right now, type that you joined over to the side so I can give you a quick shout out. Cool. So any questions that you guys have, let me know. Isadora asked the questions, what time are my Facebook Lives in Mindset University? Because it's in the middle of the night right now. So I fluctuate. And the cool thing about it is this. Anytime I do a Facebook Live, it's automatically posted into the group so you can watch the replay. If you happen to be working, if you happen to be missing it, whatever it is, it will automatically post so you guys are able to see it. I do it at 2 different times. I either do it at around this time, or I do it at around noon Eastern time, which is 9 hours back from this time right now. So we have people from all over the world. Jennifer just joined. Jennifer, congratulations on joining Mindset University. Internet high five for you, because that is awesome. So for those of you guys that are joining in or have joined, let me know in the comments over to the side so I can give you a quick shout out. I just got a private message from, it looks like Sarah. Sarah just joined. Alejandra just joined. Alejandra, internet high five to you. Congratulations for joining on Mindset University and taking the next step. It's cool because it shows you if you're really serious, you're like, you know what, I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. I'm going to get it done and I'm going to join because, I mean, if you want your life to be better, you have to invest time, money, and energy into yourself, and that will make everything else better. So Isadora says, can you say something about number 4? What does that mean? Cool. Jesse says you should consider looking at other forms of payments. Credit cards are not available to everyone in Africa. I can't do anything about that, Jesse. The only way that I can do it is through credit cards because that is the easiest way and that is the safest way because I want to make sure that the people who join have a very, very safe way to process and everything is good for them. So I apologize if you're not able to do it because you don't have a credit card, but I want to make sure that the people who join it's safe for them. And literally the way that we're processing it is the safest way for someone to process it. So Matt just signed up. Matt, congratulations. Internet high five to you as well. Congratulations on joining in and taking the next step, Matt. Isadora asked a question, something about number 4. This one right here. Time with me. What I mean by time with me is that when we're on Facebook, you know how we're conversing right now? You know, when I'm on a Facebook Live and it's on my main page. Matthew just joined as well. Matthew, congratulations. Internet high five to you as well. Because we have a lot of people that are joining. Man, there's a lot of you guys that are joining in right now. So congratulations, all of you guys that are joining in. What I mean by time with me is that when you ask me a question directly on a Facebook Live in the group, I will answer your question. Jennifer just joined in. Jennifer, internet high five to you as well. Congratulations on joining on Mindset University. So the way that we're conversing right now, Isadora, is very rare for my Facebook Lives on my main page. When I have my main page, I have anywhere between 600 to 1,000 people that are watching and thousands and thousands and thousands of comments and questions are coming through and I can't answer all of them. In my Facebook Lives that are in my private group of Mindset University, you're going to get your question answered by me, exactly like you're getting your question answered by me right now, which is more like personal one-on-one coaching because I'm answering your question directly, right? So that's what you're going to get when time with me. I mean, you're going to get a response from me. If you were to watch my free Mindset, like the stuff outside of Mindset University, there's a pretty good chance that I'll never even see your question because there's literally, I've had it before. I've gotten off of 145-minute Facebook Live, and there was 13,000 comments in 45 minutes. There's no way that I can answer all of those questions. But in Mindset University, the reason why I have it just be a small group of a couple hundred people is because lots of people don't ask questions. They just sit there and watch. You know, there's a lot of people that are on this, but not everybody's asked questions. So when you're in this small group on Mindset University, you're going to get your questions answered. Sarah, looks like another Sarah. Sarah just joined as well. So congratulations, Sarah, on joining in on Mindset University as well. And once again, you have to join if you want this price and this price, whichever one. So you could do $47 a month or $479 for the year. If you want this price, it ends when I click end on this webinar. So as soon as this webinar ends, it ends and you can't get this price and the price goes back to $119 a month. So if you want this deal, you got to make sure that you do it as you're on the webinar right now. So a bunch of you guys have just joined. Cool. Let me go ahead and see what other questions we have. How does trauma shape your paradigm? How does trauma shape your paradigm? Also, if you guys have any more questions, whether it's around your paradigm or whether it's around Mindset University, make sure that you put them down so I can answer your questions. Also, I think I said it, but there's no contracts. I want to make sure I make that clear. There's no contracts with this. So at $47 a month, you don't have to stay for like a certain amount of months. Also, excuse me, very, very important. Sorry, I didn't say this. This price is what you're locked in at forever. This is what's big. You're locked in at, if you literally purchase today, when you purchase today, you're locked in at $47 a month. That will never go back up to $119. which is awesome. So it's literally $47 a month, and that's it, and it's that way forever, okay? It does not go back up, and there's absolutely no contract. So you can stay for 3 months, 6 months. I've had people in it for 2.5 years. They're still in it. So you can stay as little as long as you want to, completely up to you. And if you're really serious about your success, the best deal that you're going to find is $479 for the next 12 months. Alejandra says, I love that. Thought you might. I know you just joined in. So your price is stuck at this. You're locked in, Alejandra. You're not going to be going to 119, which is awesome. How does trauma shape your paradigm? Well, the way that trauma shapes your paradigm is the way anything shapes your paradigm. Is the way that you're processing the world. Even let's say that there is no trauma. Let's just say some event happens to a child, and that makes them think that they're not enough. Well, trauma is the exact same thing, but it's just magnified. So it makes it even stronger, right? So you might have a little event that makes you feel like I'm not enough. But if you have trauma, that's a magnified event. Well, then you're going to think you're not enough for sure. You're definitely 100% going to think that you're not enough, but it might even be more magnified. Trauma, a lot of times, not every time, so don't think that it is always this way. Trauma, a lot of times, addiction is attached to it. And so what I would ask you guys, if you guys have some sort of major trauma, is ask yourself if you have some sort of addiction. And it doesn't have to be alcohol, it doesn't have to be drugs, it could be work, it could be other people, it could be emotionally attached as far as that addiction, it could be addiction to eating, it could be addiction to working out, it could be addiction to working. It could be an addiction to a lot of different things. So if you have some sort of trauma, that's something that you always want to think about and see if you have some sort of trauma that's attached to that. Corey, yes, the answer is yes. It is just automatically taken, so you're good to go. Colleen says, changing your mindset. Can you ask that question a little bit more direct? I'm thinking, I'm not 100% sure what your question says, but I think it says, can changing your mindset be more challenging with having mental health issues? So if you have I think what you're trying to ask me is, if you have mental health issues, is it more challenging to change your mindset? I don't know. I think that it's a case by case. It depends on who you are and what you do. Jonathan just joined in as well. Jonathan, congratulations. Internet high five. You just joined in on Mindset University. Congratulations on taking the next step and taking your life serious. So, Colleen, it's case by case. I don't know. I can't tell you if it's harder to change your paradigm or your mindset if someone has mental health issues. I think it's all case by case. Let me see. Any other questions you guys have, make sure you ask them quickly, because you do not get this chance often of me being able to actually sit and look and read your comments. What else do we got here? I want to make sure I got them all. Cool. So let me go through this one more time for those of you guys in case it happened to break up. I want to make this clear before I hop off. This price will end as soon as I get off. So Mindset University, I go live every single week inside of a private Facebook group that you can only join once you have signed up. There's a couple hundred people inside. I do Facebook Lives every single week. And this is where I teach you exactly like I just taught you today, in-depth lessons to help you take the next step. I've been doing this now for 13 years, and what I've found is that there's some very key lessons that need to be taught to people in order for them to make changes. So I don't teach you anything that doesn't matter. I teach you things that are very, very important for you to change your life. So we have Facebook Lives every single week. You get access to the video library, which is literally 30 to 40, maybe even more hours of video lessons that you can immediately start watching. You get inside of the groups, you get access to the entire group of people. Everyone who's in there is paying to be in there. So they're a much more committed person. You can have people hold you accountable. You can find accountability partners. You can see if there's people that are in your area. You can meet up, become friends with, hold each other accountable. You get more time with me, which I explained very in depth just a few minutes ago. It's hard to be able to ask me questions directly because there's a lot of people that try to ask me questions. So inside of Mindset University, you can ask me questions and I will answer them on the Facebook Lives. You also get the interviews with some really successful people, ones that have sold millions of copies of books, worth $100 million, some of the most successful people, but also some of the best people, most positive, and people that have the best mindsets as well. And then you can also access the book club. We read a book every single month, and then I make my video on the book teaching you from it. The normal price is $119 a month, but on this webinar, you get a discount only on this webinar. When this webinar ends, the discount ends as well. You get a webinar discount of $47 a month. There's no contracts, and you're locked into that price forever. Or you can do it for the entire year. The best deal is $497 for the entire year. And let me go ahead and put this up as well, just in case there happens to be any issues with the link. You can also click this link right here, and everything should be working for you right here. So there's also that link right there. You can go to www.coachwithrob.com or hit the offer button that's over to the side. It will send you directly to it. So you only have a few more minutes before I hop off. So for those of you guys that are processing, putting your stuff through, or if you decided that you're going to join, you might as well do it. It's $1.50. If you're on the fence, it's $1.50 a day. That's literally cheaper than a cup of coffee. $1.50 a day. I'm sure that you're worth $1.50 a day towards your success. And here's, one thing I didn't tell you. Damn, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. There's also a 10-day money-back guarantee. So if you try it and you're like, this guy sucks, he's not as good as I thought he was, you get 10 days to try it out. So if you try it out and you're like, this just isn't for me, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be, or maybe you just don't connect with me, whatever it is, all you have to do is send an email to my team and we will refund you 100%. No questions asked. We're not going to say, hey, this is not true. This is, he did teach that, whatever it is. If you don't connect to it for any reason at all, it's the ugliest Y I've ever made in my life. And that doesn't look much better either. So you get 10-day money-back guarantees. So if you use it, you try it, you watch all the videos, and you're like, this sucks, send us an email within 10 days, and we'll refund you 100%. Is that pretty cool? You guys can actually literally try it out for 10 days, and if it sucks, let us know, and you'll get a refund. So Jacqueline says, I read a lot of great books. I'm still finding it so hard to become the best version of myself and actually apply what I'm learning. How will your class help me do that? Great question. Well, I will tell you this. We do things like a good example is this. When you read a book doesn't force you to take action. One thing we do that I didn't put in here is we do challenges. So for instance, we did a 21-day meditation challenge, where for 21 days straight, every single person in the group meditated. And then what we did was the people who really wanted to be held accountable, they had to put up a video of themselves talking about their meditation and how they're getting better, how they're improving. So a book, you can read a book, and books are great. I've read hundreds of books, but the problem with a book is that a book doesn't force you to take action. If you have a group of people that are holding you accountable, you're getting the lessons, you're holding each other accountable, and you have the challenges, these things force you to take action. If I link you up with somebody that's in the group and they know that you're supposed to be doing this every single day, and then they text you and you're not doing this, that's a lot more accountability than just flipping through a book. So does that answer your question, Jacqueline? Let me know if that answers your question. There's a lot of different ways that we hold each other accountable, but there's also these challenges. There's things that we do to force each other, to help each other to get better, because the last thing that I want is for someone to join the group and then them not get value out of it, or for them to join the group and then not have something happen. I mean, I've had people join the group and within 6 weeks, they've lost 25 pounds and they've been trying to lose 25 pounds for 5 years. And the reason why is because they're actually starting to actually starting to do things in their life. They're actually trying to make real legitimate change in their life. So I hope that answers your question, but we hold each other accountable much more. When you're reading a book, there's no one to hold you accountable. You can read the book, you can put it down, you can do nothing. Matthew asked, do you talk with Jay Shetty in any interviews? I don't have him in any interviews, but I could call him up right now. We could talk to him if we want. Jay's a good friend of mine. I'll get him in an interview one day, but the thing that if I'm being completely honest with you, when Jay and I get together, we get done with a really long conversation and then we're like, damn, that would have been a great interview. But the conversation probably wouldn't have been authentic had we been, talking into microphones. And the reason why is because when you're talking to microphones, you don't 100% have your guard down. You're kind of a little bit more playing the role. Whenever and I've done it many times. I've sat down with many people and the interview, starts And it's not that they're a different person. It's just they change a little bit. And, you know, I don't have any interviews with him, but there's one day I'll get an interview with him. We're good friends. We were actually texting yesterday. Let's see. What else do we have here? Jacqueline says, I'd like to know if I'll be able to view this webinar once it's finished. Not 100% sure. I'll have to check with my marketing guy and see if it's been recorded. I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe. Don't know. If it is, we'll send it out to you, and you can be able to watch it later on if you want. All right, so a couple more minutes. Let's do this. This is the last chance for you guys that want to join in. If you're on the fence of joining Mindset University, just pull the trigger. It's $1.50 a day if you try it out, and you literally have 10 days to try it out, where if it's not what you want it to be, you get 100% refund. If you're on the fence, just try it. Try it for a month if you want to. At least go through. You can literally go watch all of the Facebook Lives, watch every single video in the next month, and then by January 1st, 2019, you're ready to hit the ground running, and you're good to go, right? If you wanted to do that, you could. You can stay for as little or as long as you want to. There's absolutely no contracts, and you get 10 days to try it out. So for those of you guys, let me put it up one more time. Click the link that's over to the side. It's www.coachwithrob.com, because this $47 a month ends as soon as we end off this webinar, and it goes to $119 per month, and I don't want you to miss out on it. I don't want you to pay $119 a month and pay $72 more when you could pay $47 a month. So one more time, for everybody who just joined, type that you joined over to the side. You will be getting an email from me very soon. And you know, a lot of people join at one time, so you're gonna have to get the email, and then you're gonna have to join in on the Facebook group. If you don't get into the Facebook group, like if you don't get approved, because you have to request to get into it, if you don't get approved right away, it's not a big deal. It might take 12 hours, 24 hours. My assistant has to go in and approve everybody, and they have to see, okay, John requested, did John pay? Okay, John did pay, and then she lets you into the group. So might take a couple minutes to do that, might take, you know, a little while to do it, but you will 100% be in the group. And we will start sending you the emails. You'll start getting the messages. You'll start getting the videos. You'll get access to the video library. You get all of those things. So you have about 1 more minute. Go ahead and join in. Those of you guys that are processing right now, go ahead and process your payments, put it through. And other than that, I appreciate you guys all for being here, for sticking around, for doing it. But if you're joining, go ahead and join now, or else the price is going to be going up. And I will, Roman just says I joined. I'll wait to be accepted. Congratulations. Internet high five to you, Roman, in the very last second joining in on Mindset University. So good job at joining. And I'll see you guys that have just joined Mindset University. I will see you inside of Mindset University. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.